Hey, good evening, everybody. Thank you very, very much for joining me tonight, for joining us tonight on a very, very special episode of Relax Well with Dr. Dietrich. Yes, it's a special episode. Every night is special, but tonight is extra, extra special because we have a guest talker tonight, speaker tonight. Her name is Dr. LaKeisha, OB-GYN expert, expert in hormones, and I'm just so happy to have her here tonight. So please tag folks to come in, host a watch party, tell all your friends to come in and join because we're going to have some great information tonight. So, Dr. LaKeisha, please say hi to the folks and introduce yourself.
Hi, Patrick.
Hey.
Thank you so much for having me here this evening. I'm Dr. LaKeisha. I'm an integrative gynecologist, speaker, and best-selling author. And I help women who are struggling with depleting hormones get their hormones balanced so they can retain mental sharpness, have enough energy to last the entire day, and remember just how beautiful and vital they are. And so I am so excited to be here tonight with Dr. Dietrich to talk about this topic because this is one of my soapbox moments, y'all. So Dr. Dietrich, I'm going to let you know, you're going to have to be the Sandman. You're going to have to pull me off the cut 20
Okay.
all of the good stuff because I can just get to going and going and going on this topic. But thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Let's say hi to a few folks that are already joining us tonight. Victoria, thank you so much. As always, Kasali, thank you so much. Stephanie, thank you very much for joining. Please let other people know that we're here and we're going to be talking about hormones in the holidays. So, although we typically think of, or at least we want to think of the holidays as being happy times, and this definitely may be true for some of us, but this time of the year can actually bring about a lot of stress. Okay. And there are certain stressors that can be there. A lot of things are going on in the holidays. You can be faced with certain stressors, such as just feeling kind of overwhelmed about everything that's going on. Your finances, I mean, such things as getting gifts, trying to get decorations, not being with people, trying to get to people, even though in the time of COVID, even finances in the sense that, a lot of people out there don't have jobs. Okay. You're laid off, you're not working. So that's definitely a stressor because those bills are going to keep coming. Right. And COVID. I mean, I don't need to say anything else but COVID. Okay. COVID has permeated every part of our lives. Everything is stress. I mean, COVID is involved in everything. No matter where we go, we're going to hear about COVID. Okay. And during the holidays, a lot of y'all are feeling stressed. Oh, I want to go visit my grandma. I want to go visit loved ones and whatnot. I'm going to do it anyhow. No. Okay. So you may be stressed about that, having to stay home, because it's just safer at this time of the year. Your own personal health, right? This can cause some stressors if your health isn't doing the best, or if you're trying to get your health into order. During the holidays, it can be stressful because, not only are there foods and stuff that you don't really need to be eating as much of. So this could be a stress, trying to avoid those certain foods, or, just so many things around your own health, even if it's not the best, if you're not in the best shape. And like I said, the holidays aren't always so happy for everyone. This is also a time of grief. People have lost loved ones during the holidays, and so going back to this time of the year can kind of bring all those memories and those emotions back. Okay. And then finally, guilt. Holidays can be happy, but they can also be a time for guilt, especially going like around the finances. You may feel guilty that you can't, provide for someone or get someone a gift, or actually you be guilted into doing things you don't typically want to do. You know what I mean? Just, because you don't want to do it because people are, kind of wanting you to do it. And so, holidays can be great, but they can also be very stressful. Okay. Anybody have any other ways, or Dr. LaKeisha, any other ways you feel or that you're aware of that how the holidays can provide that extra stress for folks?
Oh my goodness, Dietrich, you just hit the nail just right on the head with so many different things. I'm even thinking of people that are taxed to work overtime or do things, with their job. You talked about the finances, and we know that that can be a stressor at this time. Sometimes that may cause people to think, oh, I can pick up I can pick up extra hours, I can even pick up an extra job. And especially like you saying, with us all having and experiencing this collective trauma of COVID and the pandemic, and looking at, okay, maybe my regular job I had to scale back on, they were hit hard. So what am I going to do? How am I going to help and make sure that we have a normal holiday? How are we going, how am I going to make sure that my family doesn't feel the impact so severely of this pandemic? Or like you said, myself, if I could be transparent, the holidays are a trigger for me, because this is, remembering the absence of loved ones, or being reminded just so vividly of the absence of loved ones that are no longer around the table or by the tree, and having to deal with that, and how it has layers to it, and how you have to deal with that. And so all the things that you've already listed, and that so many of us are probably, little things too, just, having to rearrange our schedules for COVID, because we may not be going out like we used to. So everything's at home. I'm one of them. Everything here. You have to now set up schedules or boundaries and come up with new schedules of how you're going to deal with the day. Because let's face it, there's a signal coming from this brain, coming from the conductor of the orchestra is what I call it. And it's sending those signals all throughout the body. And let me tell you, a lot of times this stress hijacks the entire system.
I can't agree with you more. Yeah.
Talking about this at this time.
Oh, good. Yes. A couple of more people. I think I said Stephanie, Marsha, Mary Lou. Thank you so much. Victoria says Christmas has been postponed until next year. I'm broke. I'm a broke, introverted, antisocial Grinch this year. Oh, I know. We got to find ways to help you with that. Okay. And then Marsha, holidays can also be stressful if you have addiction, and sometimes. Oh, you're right. Something triggers you to have a setback that you relapse. Absolutely, you're right about that, Marsha. So some of the ways that stress can affect you, chronic stress even, your soul kind of hurts. You just don't feel yourself. You may become negative, more sarcastic, depressed, just kind of an overall negative, and your body is definitely in disharmony. Okay. And like in the home setting, your relationships could suffer, whomever you live with. You may have poor or malcommunication. You may just want to isolate yourself from each other because, or everyone has attitudes. Your home may take a beating. You may not keep your home because, you're just stressed out. You kind of are detaching from the situation. And then you may have a child in the home that's exposed to all that extra stress too, and they can suffer too. They may not be able to communicate it with you, but the kids can suffer too. When you're at work and you're stressed, of course your productivity can decrease. It can, your procrastination. You call in sick more often. Okay, you're prone to making more mistakes or injuring yourself. So those are some of the things that can happen. Now, physically, you're more fatigued, okay? Upset stomach, irregular periods, low libido, okay? Decreased immunity, hair loss, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, headaches, all that kind of stuff because of stress. Okay.
Oh, yeah. You're preaching tonight.
Yeah. And so, as America's relaxation doctor, I talk about stress. I talk about relaxation techniques and stress's effects. And tonight I wanted to educate y'all further about how unmanaged stress, as far as hormones can affect you. Okay, we'll talk about lady hormones tonight. We'll talk about a bunch of different hormones tonight, but everything is all interconnected. And that's why we have Dr. LaKeischa here. Okay, she talks about hormones. This is her thing. And I wanted to have her come on tonight and just talk to y'all about it. And I'm very, very honored to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Dietrich. I am honored to be part of this conversation with your community tonight. You hit one of those things that just made me go like, oh, inside when you were like irregular periods, low libido. Oh my goodness. I cannot tell you how many patients come in and tell me my periods are wacky. My period is messed up. You know, those that are still in that reproductive phase of life are still having their cycles. They come in and go, something's wrong, something's messed up. And it's inevitably, I always say to them, well, when did this start? And they'll say, oh, if they can give me a date in time and space, and they'll say, oh, it's been about the last 2 months or 3 months. What happened then?
What happened?
Yep. In your life changed. And I get this look like, well, why are you asking me about that? Because it's so intimately entwined in your physiology. Stress plays a huge role. So when we look at this time of year and we're talking about these stressors that happen, a lot of us, you know, we kind of, we're like, oh, well, everybody has stress. We kind of poo-poo it. I tell my patients all the time, we poo-poo stress or we wear it as a badge. Or, you know, it's either or. We'll say, oh, I'm so stressed out. Oh, I've got so much to do. But we don't realize what that is doing to our body physiologically. And so I tell women this way, I say, okay, let's go back to the basics. I'm a teacher. I love to teach. I love to create a foundation. So I say, let's go back to the basics. So think of your period in simplest terms as grass growing. Estrogen is the hormone that makes the grass grow tall. Progesterone's in charge of the lawnmower. So progesterone's waiting around, waiting for that signal that says, was there an egg fertilized this month to come and plop on the fluffy grass? Okay, yes, there was. Okay, don't mow the lawn. Or it says, nope, no egg was fertilized. Don't need this lawn. Let's mow the lawn. So mow the lawn. Depending on how high the grass is will be how heavy the flow. So I go, does that make sense? Okay. Well, when there's a stress, when we get a stressor and our body goes, wait, hold up. Do we need to have sex, have fun, reproduce this month? Or do we need to save her life? So it says, hey, wait, we need to save her life because there's a stress signal. The adrenals are getting turned up. So boom, let's not do that whole have sex, have fun, reproduce. You've got to survive. There's a saber-toothed tiger coming around here because that's all it knows is like survive, run, flee, fight, flight, or freeze, you know?
Exactly.
So if you are in that, and a lot of us, we have to realize we are in a chronic stress right now on a whole at some level. And so what are some things that we need to do to actually break that cycle? I know you're going to talk about that. And so let's just lay the foundation about, hey, there's a stress that can affect the way that your body normally functions. Now, let's talk about the women that are in that perimenopausal phase of life where their periods start getting a little irregular, or they're starting to have a little bit of hot flashes at night, or the night sweats, or their libido is lower. Again, the adrenals are hijacking everybody. They're like, look here, we're going to shut you down. And so when your levels are not going as high as they used to anyway, and now you have this even more blunted effect, you're going to have the potential to have more of the what we call vasomotor symptoms, which when your estrogen doesn't go as high, you start having the hot flashes, the night sweats, the vaginal dryness. Or if you're blunted and your testosterone gets blunted and you start having symptoms of testosterone deficiency syndrome, your libido goes down, your mood is not good, your motivation is low. Like you said, you were like, the house clean, why? What? For what? I don't want to check anything off any check boxes. My to-do list, what's that for? The mood, people are getting on your last nerves. You are just like, if they say my name one more time. So these are the symptoms. This is how it looks on the outside when our inside is all kind of, topsy-turvy. And so that is such a great point that you brought out, was saying, when we are stressed, and even, around this time of year, we're experiencing some stress and we have this added stress, we're not sleeping well either, because the hormones that are needed to help the neurotransmitters to get us to sleep, because that's what progesterone does too. It helps us get to sleep. And then testosterone helps us get restorative sleep. Those are not working either, because it's high alert time. It's high alert. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop, or we're trying to make sure that we don't miss anything. So we're constantly scanning the horizon, is what I say. And so it's imperative that we recognize these things so we know what this is. And now we need to be able to do some restorative practices to be able to balance out that parasympathetic, sympathetic response and be able to have everybody listen to the conductor again.
So again, it's your body's attempt to say, hey, when we're stressed out, we don't need to be worrying about resting and digesting and eating and procreating. We're in survival mode. So I'm not going to be having my periods because I'm not fixing to procreate anyhow because I'm trying to save my life.
Exactly.
So that's what happens. That gets all altered. And then that's where the irregular periods and all that stuff, and especially the mood changes and the hormone changes and stuff occur. And that does make sense, actually. That makes actually perfect sense. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you have to also think about how the body then goes into this, okay, we also need to make sure we have enough fuel on board. So anytime you consume any type of fuel, why am I going to burn that off? I'm actually going to hold. I'm going to store. So again, I know a lot of people know, kind of peripherally hear that word cortisol and they go, oh yeah, I kind of know about that.
Belly fat.
So that's adrenals, when they kick up, they actually start making you produce more cortisol. And then you start producing more of a different form called cortisone, which doesn't get really, excreted very well. And so we continue to hold on. And again, this is where you start feeling like, wait a minute, I'm not eating that much, because you really don't want to sit down and eat and enjoy. And like you said, digest and procreate. You're kind of on the go. You're like, okay, I got to make sure I'm seeing everything. I'm scanning. I'm making sure that everything is in order. And so anytime you ingest, it's going to just continue to hold, and it's going to do that store thing.
Oh, that makes sense. Y'all, if y'all have any questions, please shoot them in the comments. I do see some comments here, so I'm just going to read a couple. Oh, okay, that's nice. Marcia says, welcome, Dr. LaKeisha.
Thank you, Marcia.
Mary Lou says, I'm sad. Lost my cousin to COVID and couldn't attend. Had 3 surgery, doing good, but I have my days of stress. Don't go out. Yes.
Yes. I know. And there's so many of us that, there's this other phenomena that is happening, loss in this time of COVID, and not being able to have that community grieving period.
And the closure, yes.
And being able to come together and say, oh my goodness, and support each other and give that energy and that love and that, that human touch. And that's a whole nother thing that's going on, where we're, like you said, we're not going to see grandma, we're not going to see aunties and uncles. We're staying in our lane for such a time as this, for right now, because we don't know, I could be an asymptomatic carrier. I go see my mom in Huntsville, and she's of the age in that elderly group, and she has a couple of things going on, and I give it to her, and she gets sicker than I am. How do I even grapple with that? So there's so many different stresses, like on different levels, like we just saw with this example, like we're saying, like you said, the finances, the, inability to go out. A lot of us, our routines have changed in terms, even our exercise routine. I'm a social exercise. I love going, being part of a class, and I got to be around folk and listen and talk. And you all see, I love to talk.
Yeah.
Now it's isolated, just me and a DVD, or me and my little app on my phone, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I could totally see that too. Yes. So I wanted to, maybe share, like, with the audience, how can you help yourself, right? What are some ways that you can help decrease some of this stress, during the holidays? I just wanted to share a couple of things, and please feel free to chime in too. Marsha also says that I'm stressed because I cannot give a hug or high five to my family and friends.
Absolutely.
I totally understand. Absolutely. Very stressful. Yes.
Well, one way that I'm doing right now, Dr. Dietrich, people that watch me, is my tea. I love sipping on my tea. and having that moment, doing something restorative. I'm a part of a meditation community in the mornings with
Yes.
Dr. Carol Penn, and
Yes.
being
Excellent.
able to check in with that and having some tools in my toolbox, that I'm able to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and learning new things to be able to restore, because that's what you need to do. You got to restore, you got to fill your cup. And it can be something as simple as this. I mean, seriously, just taking a teacup and saying, I'm going to sit still for 5 minutes. I'm going to sit still. I'm not going
That's
to answer
exactly.
an email. I'm not going to answer a phone call. I'm going to sit still. Or learning how to do some certain different types of breathing. That's one thing that I've learned. There's the alternate nostril breathing. There's the 4x4 breathing. Doing things that literally help your physiology to get reset, to do that thing that they tell us in the airplanes, if the cabin pressure changes, to do that thing and put that oxygen mask on yourself first.
Exactly. And that's one of the things I wanted to share as far as like being able to promote your own relaxation for the holidays. You know, one of them is definitely like deep breathing. Okay. Deep breathing is like one of the cornerstones of stress management and relaxation, because going back to that parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system part, when you're doing that deep breathing, when you're engaging that deep breathing, it helps activate that parasympathetic nervous system. It signals to your body, okay, I'm at peace. I can rest. I can digest. You know, I'm safe. Okay, so that's what deep breathing does. And again, just like what you were saying, even if it's 5 minutes, take some time for yourself, period. Make the time. Okay. Okay. I need to go off for a few minutes. You know, don't bother me. Okay. I need to get myself together. I need to get my thoughts together. A couple of other suggestions I have, actually, as it pertains to the holidays too. People who are still engaged in the holidays, planning, okay? Planning what you need to get done. It really can help alleviate the stress because you know what you need to do, you know where you're going, you have things visualized and written down, you get your thoughts together on pen and paper, so that can take away some of that stress for you.
Yeah.
We talked about Dr. Carroll meditation. Meditation is a great way to connect with yourself, connect with your body, and kind of just slow everything down for that moment. Okay, reconnecting with yourself. And then another big one, especially during the holidays, is letting someone help you. Okay, give up the control. Okay, you know, release some of that control. Everything doesn't have to be 100% perfect all the time with everything. Release some of that. If someone asks you, can I help you? Don't try and be the hero and try and do everything and be everything to everybody. Say yes. I would love some help. Can you do such and such? That's off your plate, okay? That's some stress off your plate right there. Okay?
Yes, Dr. Dietrich, you were talking to me. I am learning how to ask for help.
Mhm.
I'm learning to say, just to even my family in these
Mhm.
four walls, these four people, I've learned to say, I need consistent help with the trash on trash day. Something as simple as that,
Mhm.
because I didn't want to bother anybody. I was trying to get, making sure that it was all together. And I was like, wait a minute. And I realized that was actually stressing me out to get the
Mhm.
trash and make sure it was out before. And I was like, wait a minute. Just tell people what you need. And it wasn't a big deal. It was like, oh, okay. Like, it wasn't like nobody was doing anything on purpose, not trying to help or not. They were just like, oh, because it was getting done. It wasn't like
Mhm.
the trash was piling up. But, and this is something so simple. But I finally said, hey, family, I need consistent help, because I would ask sporadically. And I would go like, oh, can somebody help me with the trash today? I need help with the trash. I said, I need consistent help with getting the trash out on trash days.
Mhm. Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
simple. That's simple.
Mhm. Mhm. Now I was wondering, uh, like getting back to like the hormone aspect of it. Is there any? Cause okay, so when we're stressed, we tend not to eat the best. You know, we
Yeah.
tend to maybe not eat at all, or we eat the wrong kinds of things. Are there any specific foods that are more? quote hormonally friendly, or they can help boost your hormones or help your hormones? I know, I mean, you're versed in thyroid, of course, the estrogen, progesterone, and all that stuff. But are there any particular foods that are good for hormones
Oh, that is such a great
or
question.
decreasing stress?
So, yes, you want to, so foods that are high in omega fats, the omega 3s. So, like your avocados, I know there's probably not the big season for them, but if you can find them, that is a
I
good
love avocado.
fat. Love avocados. Making sure that you have a lot of your green leafies because they have the minerals that you need to really help with those different processes.
Oh,
Other what we call adaptogenic herbs. So I talk about making sure that your body has what it needs through, like ashwagandha is a really great adaptogenic herb. It goes in and it'll help the adrenals to do what they need to do. Now, you have to remember too, the adrenals do make some of our sex hormones, a very small amount of them. The majority comes from the ovaries, but the adrenals do make a little bit of them too. And so if you give the adrenals some support with ashwagandha, L-theanine is another amino acid that's really great to help with the production of these, with regulating your hormone production. That would be great. Vitamin D is another good one that can help out. Vitamin B, there's certain vitamin Bs that really do help with the different processes. So I don't know if you remember, I just remember sitting in biochemistry class and they would talk about these reactions that would happen in the body. And they would say, yeah, there's some things that kind of help these reactions go along. We're not quite sure what they are. They're these little cofactors. Well, now we know they're the vitamins, they're the phytonutrients, they're the minerals that help these processes in our bodies to produce the end result better and to be able to convert these chemicals better. So vitamins, there are a lot of B vitamins, some of the B6s, some of the B3s, B2s. And these are, you have to go talk to your doctor, talk to someone that can even do, maybe looking at a micronutrient profile of you to be able to see what you need support in. Because I don't just going out and, I had a guest on my show the other day. She said, I am not your doctor. I do not play your doctor on TV. This is generalized information.
Exactly.
So I'm just giving you some generalized information. But these are some of the conversations you can start having because there are, making sure you get your green leafies, the root vegetables. So eating with the seasons. So it's fall, it's harvest time. And these are the times that we get our root vegetables that have the complex carbohydrates that really do help with insulin control and not having these big spikes and big dips. And so when all of these things work together, then you have this more even keel, more even tone. You don't have big drops and deficiencies.
Okay. I just wanted to add, what is adaptogenic? I heard you put that word out there. What is that?
Oh, I love adaptogens are molecules or chemicals that go into your system and they actually go in and go to the right place and know where to go and where to work. So adaptogenic herbs actually go into, the main place that I like to talk about is the adrenals, the ovaries, and they know to go in and help different pathways to function better. So they help you to adapt to the stressors to be able to function better. So that's where the terminology came from, adaptogens, being able to adapt better.
Oh, that makes sense.
Perform better.
Okay, excellent. Okay, yes, Marcia said, get out, get right of pride and ask for help. It's okay, yes. My main stress comes from not being able to sleep through the night, perimenopausal insomnia and fatigue. Could that be just hormonal? Any relaxation techniques?
So that could be hormonal. That could be neurotransmitter support as well. That needs to be teased out because there's a couple of different systems that work together to help you get to sleep and stay asleep and get that restorative sleep. Some of the relaxation techniques that I've used is having some type of meditation that I listen to at night to book in my day. So working with my meditation coach, that's one of the suggestions that she gave me, because everything happens in the house. And I didn't realize that one of the things I was missing was the decompression or the debriefing that I would do in the car on the way home from work. Because now I go from the basement upstairs, and there's no,
you still at home, right?
there's no dumping out of your head that patient that you talked to, making sure that you did the right thing. You're like, okay, going back over that note, there's none of that. And even my children were seeing that, my son would be like, after you finish, where you kind of come upstairs, you're kind of like, I was like, yeah, you're right. I was like, and that's the only way he could describe it. And so I started staying downstairs, actually doing, if I can really think about it, doing alternate nostril breathing or doing some type of breathing, maybe even, talking to somebody right before I come upstairs. And then it's like, okay, that's over. That's done. So there are different techniques you can do to literally kind of like get your brain to get the signal it's time to stop. And we're ending that day. We're bookending that day. I don't care what was done, what wasn't done. It's over. This is the end of that day. And then if you're, having a lot of insomnia, again, talking to a physician, a healthcare provider, because that could be multi-system complexity.
Multifactorial as well. Yes. Multiple issues that can definitely cause that. Excellent. Great question. Thank you, Victoria. Okay. Does anyone have any hormonal questions or anything like that? I wanted this to be informative, but not really long show. I like to kind of keep it nice and simple and not too long so people can be engaged. Marcia says, I relax at night by listening to sleep music to help me tone down and go to sleep. So that's what I typically do. I like a cool room, deep breathing, laying in bed, instrumental, nothing that that I know the tune to because I don't want to hum along, but it's something that kind of calms me down. That really, really helps me. Okay. And just getting comfortable, maybe taking a nice shower before, some lavender essential oil. I just, love that stuff. Love it, So those are some techniques also, Victoria. Thanks, Marcia, for sharing that. Okay. Any other thoughts, Dr. LaKeisha, you want to talk about as far as like hormonal regulation and stress and how we can improve our health as far as hormonal treatment, our periods and all that stuff?
Sure. One other thing is movement. So staying active. I talked about how as a social, I'm a social exercise. I love groups, but I've had to learn to kind of get over that, do what I need to do to keep moving.
Yeah.
And even give myself grace when I don't feel like it. Maybe my body needs a moment to just not do that, but don't let myself off the hook and not do, and just be like, oh, I'm not doing anything.
Never. Yeah, just
right. So our bodies were made to move. Part of that movement releases, endorphins. A lot of that movement helps with the brain chemistry, the talking that the brain does to our other organ systems, and being able to support that parasympathetic and the adrenals, and making sure that we make the right amount of hormones at that particular time. So movement is, I think Dr. Carol talks about it too. And movement is medicine. And
absolutely.
Being able to stay in motion and doing that as well. And so maybe also looking at the timing and when you move, because some people do their movement at night and that could be a little stimulating. So make sure, if you're noticing that, do it in the morning or midday. It could be something that breaks up your day. If you're somebody that's teleworking, you can do that during your lunch break. And that can actually even give you another boost of energy because, some of us get that, afternoon slump and we hit that wall. And so that could be another way to be able to get things flowing. But movement, meditation, making sure that you're supporting your body with the right with the right foods, the right supplements, and then talking to a healthcare provider that can really help you tease out those different things that we talked about. Because, we're complex. We can't just look at ourselves as
exactly
system. We've got to look at it as a whole picture.
Yes. And getting your mind right as well. So that helps the stress too. Getting rid of those negative thoughts or those negative vibration, toxic people, toxic relationships, things that are bringing you down, things that are uplifting to yourself. It's all integrated. Everything is integrated. And
Yes,
so,
yes,
it's,
Dr. Dietrich.
so, you know, it, all of the little parts make one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So taking care of each of those parts, it only helps you. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Dr. LaKeisha, thank you so much for joining. I mean, this has been a great conversation tonight. Hey, how can I get a hold of you? Do you have a book or what's going on? How can I find out more about you or follow you? For all of my folks out here who haven't met you before tonight, they just love you and they want to follow you. How do they do that?
Thank you so much, Dr. Dietrich. I am on all social media platforms at Dr. LaKeischa MD. That's DrLakeischa MD. You can follow me on those at that handle. You can also grab my book. If you'd like to grab my book, I have a book, The Other PMS, Your Survival Guide for Perimenopause and Menopause. That is at theotherpms.net. And then I have one other special thing for your viewers tonight, Dr. Dietrich.
Yes.
I kept my Black Friday Balanced Beauty Bundle for you. So
Oh,
if you go to balancedbeautyexperience.live, that's balancedbeautyexperience.live, you can grab your Balanced Beauty bundle at the Black Friday price.
balanced with the ED,
Yes.
balanced beauty experience live.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if that goes. Okay.
That's it.
Excellent.
That's it. That's it.
Excellent. 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 So, thank you again for joining. One of the things I wanted to talk about is, I have a journal, okay, and one of the things that one of the things that it does is help restructure some of those negative thoughts. It's called Grateful and Ready: A Reflective Journal to Fuel Your Soul. You can definitely get that at drdietrichg.com. Okay, so the new year is approaching, and people are wanting to have a fresh perspective, and journaling is definitely an excellent way to get more in touch with yourself and more in tuning yourself with yourself, but you do not have to wait until the new year. Okay, you can start now. You can start focusing on yourself right now. So please take a look at my website and go ahead and purchase that.
I have
Also,
mine. It's wonderful. Y'all go grab it.
oh, thank you. Yes. So starting also for me, December 20th, 12 days before New Year, I'm going to be actually going on live at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m., giving you, for just like 2 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, giving you inspiration, affirmations, thoughts of gratitude as an introduction to my free webinar that's coming up later on in January. So please look out for that announcement. It's going to be great. So I think that's about it for us tonight. Dr. LaKeisha, any final words?
If anybody would like to schedule a free strategy session with me to talk about their hormones, they can also go to talkhormones.com and schedule a free strategy session with me. That's
Hormones? Okay.
talkhormones.com.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. And then again, oh, thank you. I'm Dr. Dietrich Gorman. Okay, I'm a physician, best-selling author, speaker, and I'm America's relaxation doctor. I help those individuals maneuver through life's stressful situations at work and at home by learning ways to incorporate relaxation. And I thank you again, Dr. LaKeisha, for joining me, and thank you all for joining me tonight and joining us tonight for another episode of Relax Well with Dr. Dietrich. I'll be here next week, next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, right here. Thank you so much, y'all. Thanks for joining. Okay, bye, Dr. LaKeisha. Thank you. Okay,
Bye.
bye.